This episode of Film Riot is brought to you by Domaincom.
Today on Film Riot, we take a look at the C100 Mark II and some cinema lenses. Welcome to Film Riot, the show that takes mystery out of the effects and techniques. Going to some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley, and thanks to the team at Canon, I was able to get my hands on a beta version of the new C100 Mark II for some testing. I used a production model of the cam for the short we just shot last week, but before I did, I was able to test out the cam with a pre-production model to get familiar with all the extra goodies. So everything you're going to see today is from that beta pre-production model, not the production model, but still close enough to mess around with. So let's jump right into the Pool O Mark II and talk about what's new. First things first, I'm the realist. First things first, we start with the obvious, the body, that sexy body.
Oh yeah, look at that oozing sex appeal.
We have 17 assignable buttons now, silent push on all of them, and a lot more coherent placement for them as well. Back here we have windows on the slots to see what we have in the camera at a glance, and more importantly, this new OLED display. It's so much better than the last. We can flip this thing wherever we want it to go now, which is one of my bigger complaints with the original C100. You're very restricted with what angles you can set the screen, so it makes grabbing certain shots a little difficult. But with the new OLED, you can move it just about anywhere you want, even flip it against the side so you can use it as a monitor for your AC if you have one. And on that display area, we now have a joystick. If you own a C100, you should understand why I'm so excited about this little addition. With how my C100 is set up, joystick on the grip only. Once you take the grip off to strip it down to mount the cam on a Steadicam or Ronin or whatever, you can't make selections easily anymore. The only thing that you can do is route buttons for it, which is not great. So adding the joystick here is just glorious. And we have a much better screen here now as well. When I compared them side by side, the new OLED is getting a much more accurate picture than the original C100. The original C100 has sort of a bluish sheen over the entire screen. This one seems to lean a touch more warm, but much improved. Another small but huge thing is the built-in mic. So again, if I'm stripping my cam down to be as light as possible, get down to the bare essentials to fly on a Ronin or a Steadicam, I can still get scratch audio with this now built-in mic right on the body.
Ooh, that sexy body.
Another massive change is the viewfinder. It's actually usable now and really freaking great. Actually, it's the same viewfinder that you get on the C500 and the C300. So now you are good to go in really bright environments, thank God. You can also turn the EVF off when it's not in use to save power, which is also good. Inside the cam, we have a new image processor, which has new sciencey stuff. Long story short, it's giving us a better image with less false color, less moire, and less noise, giving us better low light capabilities. I tested it against my C100, which of course the Mark II is a pre-production version, but side by side, the image on the C100 Mark II seems to be a touch more sharp and seems to be giving me more color, whereas on the original C100, I'm getting more of a wash of warm across the whole image. I'm getting more colors to play with in the Mark II, it seems like. And when I tested the low light against each other, I was definitely getting less and tighter noise in the Mark II than in the original C100. You can also record MP4 in cam now along with AVC HD, both compressed the same, so there should be zero change in image quality between them. The big difference is MP4 is a much easier file to work with, but AVC HD has better audio. So for something like Film Riot, I'd probably shoot MP4 for the convenience, but with a short film, I would go with AVC HD for the better audio. You can also do 60 frames per second slow motion now, either in camera or post conversion. It's only 60p. I really wish it was over 100, but better than nothing. Last thing of awesomeness is the Wi-Fi capabilities. I didn't have time to capture it for this episode, but I did use it while shooting our short film. Basically, you can connect any device that has a web browser to the camera to control its functions and even see live view. I used it to trigger the record functions on the camera while Booth was operating the camera on a Movi. Very helpful. So when all is said and done, each upgrade on its own isn't that massive, but once you put them all together, Canon pretty much fixed every complaint I had about the C100, except for high-speed slow motion. I'd really love to see this go past 60p, but other than that, this is a really solid update to an already really solid camera. After using it for a few weeks and then going back to my original, I'm seriously considering selling my C100 and upgrading to the Mark II. The little additions really did add up to a lot for me. You should get a website.
Do it.
You should get a hosting plan.
Do it.
You should use Domain.com.
Do it.
Domain.com has hosting plans that are reliable and affordable, so you should use it.
Do it.
They got the domain discovery service to help you pick the right name for you, so you should use it.
Do it.
And when you use coupon code FilmRiot at checkout, you'll get 15% off your domain names and web hosting at domain.com, so you should use it.
Do it.
When you think domain names, you should think domain.com.
Do it.
Logo. So like I said, we shot our new short last week, which we did using the C100 Mark II and Canon Cinema Zooms, which we got the lenses thanks to the awesomeness of Lens Pro to Go, which I've talked about them on the show before. If you need to rent anything, I highly suggest going through them. They are incredibly awesome to work with. But this is the lens right here in all its glory. It's the second time that I've shot with these. The first was with Adobe and the Frog. What I love about it is that you're getting a wide range of focal lengths with just two lenses. So there is less need to be swapping them out, and it makes it a lot easier to dial in the shot that you want since you aren't changing out lenses to try different lengths. And like Boost said on set, we often find ourselves at odd focal lengths that just feel right to be placed at. So all around, I love working with zooms when possible. And these cinema zooms are far superior to photographic lenses like my 24-105L for several reasons. First is the obvious better focus throw, gears for your follow focus, and so on. But then you have zero loss of light when zooming, so you're at the same place at the top of the lens as you are at the bottom. It doesn't trombone when zooming, meaning the lens stays the same physical length when you zoom, so you aren't messing with the balance. And of course, it has much better glass, which is giving me a much better image. Here's to compare to my 24-105L and the Cinema Zoom. The difference is always shocking me. Much better color coming from the Cinema Zoom. It seems a bit sharper, and I'm liking the bokeh a lot better on the Cinema lens. Just all around, you're getting a better image from a better lens, which is to show you that the lens you choose is just important, if not more important, than the camera. Throw a crap lens on a great camera and you still aren't doing yourself any favors. Now these lenses are insanely expensive to buy, as are all pro cinema lenses, so you definitely want to rent them, not buy them in most cases. Again, for me, I'm always going to Lens Pro to Go for my cam and lens rentals. With that in mind, I asked them if they'd be cool enough to hook you guys up with a coupon code for the Cinema Zooms in case any of you wanted to check them out. And they did, so go right here to check the lenses out. And if you want to rent one or both, use this coupon code right here to get yourself some discount of discount proportions. Logo. But that's it for today. If you want to see some pictures from the set, you can follow me and Josh on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All links are below in the notes section. And again, Lens Pro to Go right here for rental goodness. They put lollipops in all the cases that they send gear out in. I know they do it for everybody, but it kind of makes me feel a little bit special. I got my little lollipop. But I'll see you guys next week when I confront my dad with a crossbow.